Speaking of members, do you want me to go after John is it Locken?
Oh, Loken.
Loken, yes.
Yeah,
I think I could recruit him.
that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so
All right.
this is the December 5th meeting of Scio Township Environmental Sustainability Task Force. Anything anyone wants to add to the agenda? All right, we'll just go ahead. Communications and correspondence. I think if there's none specific to this committee, I think I have, some things, some updates that we can cover later on. There's Tim. Hey, welcome back.
Hi, Jen, thanks. Change.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. So public comment. Anything from those? Rob.
Jan, we heard about the HVAC system that you have been significantly working on.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what was the final number that we'll be paying for that? Was it 292,000?
I think it was, I thought it was like 310 something.
Okay.
Yeah. And that isn't the final number. That's sort of the study estimate. So the next step will be an RFP that'll be a design build, and it'll have two phases. One is the design phase and final pricing, and then the other, and then the execution phase of it. So we won't know the final until they actually go in and do the engineering, because we've got a schematic, so it has the zones and the number of units, and Caleb did the modeling. He'll be sharing that energy model, because that's what you base the size of the geofield on, and that kind of thing. So what'll be nice is we'll have some checks and balances within that as we move to the engineering phase.
But initially, that was a nearly $800,000 system, and with all the grants and the discounts and stuff,
Yeah.
You saved us nearly $500,000, if not $500,000. So congratulations on that.
Yeah,
And
well, hopefully, yeah, we have to get it done next year, because I don't think the Trump administration can mess with the IRS. They codify things, and it takes a while to change it. But if we don't get it, completed in 2025, there is a risk, but we'll know, so hopefully we can rush it. And we should be able to get it done in 2025. So.
And that was going to be my next question,
Yeah.
was the 40% discount for the USA made one. Do
Yeah.
you imagine the potential tariff war could cause some supply problems for what we ultimately choose?
Yeah, that's why we want to get done. We want to get it done quickly.
Not just the finance side, but the supply side too.
The supply
Yeah.
side, exactly. Yeah, you betcha. Because I was talking to the Mitsubishi reps, and they go, I didn't understand that it's not just Canada and Mexico, but there's it's a world trade agreement for, I forget, certain like preferred countries. And so you really can't you're supposed to treat them as a whole. And China isn't one of them. But the other ones, you're supposed to have equal kind of trade um, agreements with the whole group. And so they would be breaking this with that entire group if they did the Canada and Mexico thing. But in any event, oh geez, we're just, yeah.
Like you said, the sooner the better.
Sooner the better. You got it.
Well, was it Brandon who said in the board meeting that they were hoping to get some stuff by February? So it seemed to me that the general talk was they were going to try to get things going pretty quickly.
Yeah, I have to finish up the RFP. And then the RFP will go to the board. They'll have to approve that in January. Then there'll be the design phase. And then then of course the board will have to approve the final cost, and then they can order the equipment. and equipment, it would probably be, I mean, equipment is, you know, minimum 6 weeks. So, yeah, it's not a quickie.
Do we have to move out of the building?
They're trying to work within, the idea would be to go ahead and replace the unit in the township hall, and then people could move in there. And so the township hall, then the township hall and all the utility, you know, addition space would be occupiable, and they could, you know, take the ceilings down and redo the ductwork and so forth in the other portions of it. And people between work at home and temporary workstations and so forth, that they wouldn't need to.
Okay, so they don't need to move
move
out
out.
of the building, just move around.
And there'll still be some, you know, costs to that, obviously, but it wouldn't be like renting space. But anyway, yeah, so it's exciting that we're going to do it. And the 2030 district is then going to take the work that's been done and turn it into sort of these are the, you know, the alternatives and how we priced it based on this kind of load, so other people can take a look and see you know, the different types of systems and the options, and sort of give them a little bit more background. And in fact, I used it today at Peace Neighborhood Center because they're trying to put together all their units are over. And we're working with the 2030 district is working with Ann Arbor Township and Linden Township on doing, you know, some things with their community energy management grant funding. So it's fun. I mean, people
Excellent.
are doing it. They're really taking decarbonization seriously, and it's a big investment. So, yeah.
Yeah, maybe just for all of us, review what the advantages are in this system over what we have now.
Yeah, sure. So our current system is called a constant volume system. It's a rooftop system. It's gas fired. It's 1980s. It's kind of 90s system. I forget how old it is. 20 years, 2000 or something like that. It's over 20 years old. So about early 2000s. And so what it does is it doesn't meet the current air quality system, indoor air quality, because what happens is if one area doesn't want as much cooling or heating as another, it simply decreases the amount of air. And you know, so basically you don't get the outside air that's required. It also has right now parts of it, the controls aren't working, but they also, it's zoned very poorly. You have offices that have different exposures, like east and west on the same zone. So, you know, in the morning somebody's frying and the other person's freezing, and the opposite in the afternoon, that type of stuff. So
That was going on back when I was in office. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's about the cheapest system you could install, period. And
So
yeah,
this is just cooling, not heating.
it's heating and cooling. Yeah, so
Oh.
it'll be a geo.
Yeah.
There'll be geo bores, and then it goes into basically a heat pump, and then zoned fan coil units to distribute. And there'll be it's called it's a separate outside air system, so you're always getting the amount of air you need. And now it's really cool. You can control things like the township hall have a CO2 sensor. So if there are only 5 people in there, you're not going to have the outside air and have to heat or cool it for the capacity in there is what, 100 and something. And so, you know, the ability to really kind of fine tune the system. The other thing is the controls. The township has never upgraded the software on the controls, so they have to call a heating and ventilating contractor to adjust anything with the controls because they don't have access. So
Good, great,
yeah.
Great project.
Yeah, and like you said, it's with the grants and the direct pay stuff, it's the time to do it. Okay. Yeah, so much for that question. Any other public comment?
Thanks, Rob.
Right. Going on. All right. Focus group planning. So take it away. Materials and waste. And sorry, it took,
Okay.
I followed up with that map. I forgot to post it originally.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can somebody bring that up?
Yeah, I should be able
Thank you
to do
very,
that.
very much for doing that, Bob.
My pleasure.
And I think we had like about 85 hits, something like that.
87, I think.
87,
Well,
okay,
that's how many data points I put out.
got
Mhm.
it.
And there were 107, I looked back and I think there were 107 responses and 107, was that right? Something like that, or 110. I think it was 110 and there were 7 no's and the rest were all, yeah, let's do it.
Can you make that
Increase
like a,
the,
Oh, yeah.
well, like a slideshow or whatever on your view? Probably in the menu.
I can only, it's a PDF, so I can
Right.
only like increase the size.
You
Does that
can
help?
increase the size of your window though and make it like in your menu up above.
No, I think you guys can, if you go to, you can slide people over, I think.
Well, I
Can
did that, but I'm
Oh, you know
saying,
what I can do? I'm not at
Yeah.
full screen. Is that better?
right.
Yeah, okay.
But you, in your menu in the upper left, can't you go to a full screen setting?
Well, it's a PDF
Under
that I'm
view,
sharing, so
halfway
I just,
down, under
yeah,
view, halfway down, yeah.
view,
And now you
Oh.
can't, you,
full screen mode. Does that change it?
there we go, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
It
okay,
actually
great.
didn't,
Hey, I
to
learned
me, it
something
didn't make
today.
the
Woohoo!
image bigger.
I always, yeah, you can always zoom now, I think. Well, maybe not.
Yeah,
But anyway, it's I
Yeah, I
always
can
try to
zoom
get the
like that.
presenter to do that, you know, can't you go to presentation mode?
hey, what was that
All
little
right.
slider on the right that just came up, Jan? Did you see that? There
No.
was you did something and a little zoom thing showed up in the lower right for
Oh,
just a
what I
second.
did is I did control plus sign to make it larger.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't
And
notice it
so it
necessarily get
probably
bigger. I just
showed
saw
something.
that. So, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I
Okay,
think we can kind of see
so
the distribution though anyway. And you notice that
yeah,
to
so
me
we've got
sort of follows along the
uh-huh.
population largely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, you were entirely on the money, you guys, when you said that Township Hall is in the center, and that's because it is in the center of the township, but there's also all this on the east side and southeast side that if we
Which
wanted to go with the second place there, we talked about it, the 242 parking lot on,
yeah, or Guards, either one, you know.
yep,
Mhm.
Yep.
and it might catch, you know, it might give options, but that, I don't know how much the cost is. So Charlie and Jeff probably can handle that.
Yeah, that's well, what I could do when I contact Jenna is let her know that we've got 87 volunteers, as she calls them, and we want one drop-off site. I guess the thing would be, my first question is, do we dare say Township Hall? Because we really haven't got their approval.
we're gonna need.
But then on the
approval
other
no matter
hand,
where
I
we go.
wonder if the exact location makes a difference to them as far as accessibility.
Yeah, I think you talked to her about it because she should know if
Yeah,
if it's one or two, and you know whether it's 242 Church or Guards, you know, in this area, and then you know at Township Hall. Obviously, I think they're going to be with the park and opening the toilet rooms. They're going to have cameras too, so you know it may be um you know um we can, yeah, well, obviously the Board of Trustees has to approve the whole thing. So I think you get a proposal. I think we can get the contacts for 242 Church to see if, or even Mark Smith, who owns the, you know, the Gelman property.
Yeah, but Jan,
Yeah.
I think there's room at the Township Hall
Mhm.
parking lot and back in there somewhere. I mean, I think we could probably get that figured out if we can just get permission to do it. And that's, I
Yeah.
think that's the
Oh,
most,
yeah, no, but I think the other thing is there's gonna be construction going back there. The geofield's going back there, plus they're gonna be doing the pathway out to the,
Mm.
so we may have to
okay.
change the location a little bit. So it's not that far behind Township Hall, but closer
Yeah,
straight in kind of thing.
yeah, good.
Mhm.
Let's do it.
Mhm. Yeah, I think we should find out, what it would be if it were one drop-off place or another. And I bet we get 100 volunteers. I bet we can get
Oh,
100 volunteers. I would just base it on that kind of, that's my opinion. Because I know I didn't respond to the survey. Yeah. So I think, I think marketing it and so forth, I think we could get
Darlene,
get 100.
my recollection was that when Canton went to multiples, it wasn't all that much more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jeff. It was somewhat more, but I don't know that it was horrendous.
I would say it was maybe $100 a month more.
I do recall, though, that there was some concern about access. In particular, they liked a paved surface that they could come right up to the whole distance.
Yeah.
And I could see where Vestergaard, that could be a challenge, but at 242 and obviously Township Hall,
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't.
It would be a challenge, particularly in the winter
Yeah.
and muddy times in the spring and fall.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then again, I don't think we're doing it in the winter, true?
Yeah, we can do it year round.
Yeah, it should be yeah, I think it's year round. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's
was it?
just
Okay.
important, I think, in the winter,
Mhm.
to do it in the winter. Because
Would
people
dub-
aren't necessarily going to be feeding their compost piles in the winter. I typically don't.
Yeah, I
I
thought
have-
somewhere in the
I haven't
dialogue
really
there was
quit.
something about that not doing winter, but I could be wrong.
would W
In
I
the winter.
oh,
Go ahead,
Would-
Pam.
Pam,
would WISD be a potential? They've got a huge parking lot and wouldn't they be maybe one of the candidates to be a part of this?
I talked to them briefly. They just, from a whole liability security kind of standpoint, they didn't want to be a public site,
Okay,
but they are interested in learning more about that because they certainly have year-round food waste. So it could be, maybe they wouldn't be a public site, but if they were interested in tag teaming, they, the same truck could pick their stuff up that picked our stuff up.
right, yeah.
And that could also be the case if there were any other restaurants or so forth. So there's a potential for us to do a little marketing job, saying, hey, we're starting this pilot. We're going to have, the my green Michigan trucks coming through. It might be good to, ask them, or My Green Michigan, what would it take if, a commercial establishment or something wanted to tag team with us? Not to have a public site, but, to have to.
Okay, I can ask
have to
Jenna
pick
that
up.
question too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's a good question.
Yeah.
And I think the county would probably, there might be some employees at the county that would participate too.
Mm.
They have, I think they had a worm bin at one time. I don't know if it's still active, but who knows? Because they must have what? I bet you they have, between the road commission and the West Service Center, they probably have over 100 employees over there, you think?
Oh, yeah.
So that's a nice, benefit, because it doesn't necessarily have to be township residents. It could be, township, businesses and employees that could be volunteers, right? And that could up the number of people that would be involved.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Mhm. Maybe the
Indeed.
county would even donate.
Yeah, so I like I like Township Hall to start with. Cause I think it'd be quick and easy, whatever they're doing, the path construction isn't gonna take a lot of, equipment space. I think.
Yeah, and if we do it straight in, you got, you can advertise right there, you know?
And I'm
in
wondering
the
if the space that Jeff and I had in mind behind Township Hall is actually a ways from where that park entrance is. And I
mhm.
think it's far enough from the building. The geothermal units, how do you have any idea how far away from the building they would do the borings?
Well, there are two options depending on, we have to coordinate a little bit with the park work.
Mhm.
But one is in that grassy space, right outside utilities, right, it would be where the utilities doors are on the other side of that parking lot, basically, in that grassy area.
As you go down into the wetland?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Before you get down into
Yeah.
the wetland, yeah. The other one is about half of that, the far parking lot. Mhm. Yep.
Hmm.
So that's what we're thinking. But yeah, I think
Okay.
it would, Tim, I think you're right. It would probably be easier to get it going in Township Hall, and then maybe we grow to a second site depending on, response, etc. And it'd be and just talk it up and see if there might be some other folks that would be interested
Okay.
in hosting it. Mhm.
I'll write up something for Jenna and share it with the group and for
Mhm.
comment and things like that before I send it to her. Because it would be nice to get a quote at this point.
Yep, yep. Because
Okay.
ultimately it has to go to the township board.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want the quote for is they've started the budget process for next year. So anything that we want to do, as a committee, we need to put it in the special projects budget. So, if we wanted to do 2 tenths instead of one for the sustainability fair, if this composting pilot should be in there. Anything else that, Kathy's, wants to promote the public transit, and any kind of expenses project expenses that special projects we want to, put forward to be considered for the budget.
What would you guess our spending cap is for that? To get money.
We have, I know they have carried like about $40,000 for, that, enhanced recycling kinds of things, which we haven't done. So surely that amount would be available.
Yeah, and that
And
more than would cover what we're talking about now.
yeah. So
On the other hand, if they want to keep the 40, that's fine with us too.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna put in, I think, 5,000 for the sustainability fair, so we can do 2 tenths if we want, and get some nice feather signs that, we can, now that we have storage in the basement. And so there might be some other initiatives that people want to do. Whether
Yes.
it's, yeah.
Yes, and on the agriculture or farm side, I'm wondering if we should partner up with Mike Vestergaard for maybe a $5,000 support of a project there that has to do with educating Scio citizens about like he wants to do, agriculture and food and helping understand what it is, and maybe Scio Township schools. Wait a minute, do we have any schools in WISD? Is that in township?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that has Honey Creek. And then we also have
Private schools?
the one next to the fire station. Daycroft, and we have, then there's the one associated, the Christian school that's on Jackson Road. So we have a
Yeah.
couple of private schools and then High Point, Honey Creek. Mhm.
Right, so to help younger people understand what happens in agriculture and food production,
Mhm.
and pal up with Mike Vestergaard, I'm sure he'd be happy to consider something.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay.
Anyway, that's an idea. So should I explore it?
Yeah, sure. And see, and it could be, I think you'd probably want to do something that might be family oriented, um,
Yeah.
as well as the that the and school engagement kind of thing. Sure.
Mhm. Okay,
Mhm.
okay, I'll do it.
Okay. The let's see. So egg, and so that's so really the material and waste things, the composting. That's a good project. I did put in the minutes. I did talk to Kathy was going to do sort of she's interested in putting solar on her house, so we were thinking of doing like a solarized kind of thing or a family and friends thing with Homeland. And Homeland said, well, why don't we just host a Scio event at, since they're in Scio Township, at their offices, and they have their warehouse. He says they got the county contract. So they have just a bunch of batteries and um, solar panels, and they can talk, kind of about the whole process. So we decided to do we kind of looked at February and I'm going to do a Sunday event in February. And we'll have, maybe do like a hot chocolate bar and, just make it a kind of a community come together and learn about solar. And then they can do if there's enough interest, they can do a family and friends discount for people that are interested in moving forward with looking at solar for their house or business. So that's a way of
Yeah, I like it.
engaging, and they can do it hybrid. The presentation part can be hybrid, so even people who, it's inconvenient for them to actually get there physically could, also participate. So that's the thought there.
Yep, good one. Yeah, I would come. I mean, they're on Medi Drive and I plan to check that out tomorrow anyway.
Okay. All right, and that's a no cost thing. They're gonna host that out of their marketing budget. Woohoo! So Kathy, you had some thoughts about transportation.
Yeah. I'm trying to, as you know, I've been trying to set up a little citizens committee or something that we can. I'm concerned about the fact that something like 70% of Scio Township voted in favor of that millage for transit. And I listened in on a couple of the meetings where they were talking with AATA and so on. And it sounds like the ridership is like, on a good day, maybe 20 people getting picked up at Meyer, which is their biggest stop. So it seems to me that we're not getting the use we should out of it. We have a goal of trying to increase or decrease rather vehicle miles traveled, which means we need people going places and not driving their cars. There's a lot of benefits to that. So I thought it would be a good idea to focus in the coming year on doing everything we can to convince people to ride the bus, try it out, and get in touch with people enough to figure out what are the sticking points. Why aren't they doing it? Is it just they're not thinking about using the bus because they never have? Is it prejudices about what kinds of people use the bus? Just getting over the sticky point of figuring out how to use it and where to go and all that kind of thing, whatever. So I thought it would be a good idea to put together a little committee where we can kind of brainstorm it and work on educating people and whatever. I put a sign-up sheet out at our fair. Didn't get a whole lot of interest. Got one person who's just a citizen signing up, and I haven't been able to get back in touch with her. But I do have a meeting scheduled next week with people that did sign up, which is Will Hathaway, Chris Chang, and she's not going to be at the first meeting, but Shasta from Wave.
Yeah, she's
So,
a dynamo.
yeah, she is. She is. And I'm just thinking, I know she thinks that the reason that Wave doesn't get more than it does is simply that people have no idea the service is there. I signed up for my free bus pass. I've taken my one trip downtown so far with it. And my husband and I went and we chatted with a woman who was doing the exact same thing we were. She had just gotten her senior pass and was saying, yeah, we really should use the bus. And then she said, yeah, there's this Wave bus too. She says, that's for the poor people to take. And I said, so I think Shasta's right that she thinks that it's for people that have a little card that say that they're poor and that they need this service, or handicapped or something of this sort. So there may be a lot of misinformation out there, but I'm hoping we can meet and brainstorm some ideas and figure out, do we have to go into homeowners associations and talk to people? All of this. Anyway, we'll see. It's coming starting next week. In the meantime, I took a class with a transit advocacy organization based in Detroit that just ended last week. Very interesting, explaining the whole, I learned a ton about transit systems through the whole United States, how they're funded, who you go to get more funding, what the sticking points tend to be, all of that stuff. So yeah, I'm ready to go on this.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Let me know if you want, some kind of something in the budget. One of and Will was a part of this conversation too. One of the things we were trying to figure out is how much would like a Go Pass type thing cost? And would the DDA subsidize that for Scio businesses?
Right.
So because in Ann Arbor, the businesses, I think it's probably up to $20. They get you buy passes for your employees at $20. It's an annual pass for
Right.
riding the bus.
Right.
That's a real, and of course they have the issue of parking downtown is expensive, so there's that financial incentive to take it as well.
But for example, maybe employees at places like Michigan Medicine or IHA, maybe they'd prefer to free up more of their spaces for their clientele as opposed to the employees, I would think that, I don't know, it seems like those kinds of things. I think that I got the IHA facility out there on Jackson. I think that I got a name for Shasta to go after. That's like an administrator for the whole building, because all these doctors, they have patients that need rides to the doctor's office often, that can't drive themselves. And at this point, I understand they are paying for Uber for their patients. So, if Wave could do that instead, it probably would be a lot more cost effective and better all around.
Yeah.
So.
And then they get comfortable using it and can use it for other things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they have I don't know if you knew that Wave has a lot more funding this year with apparently some social service agencies have funded them, public health agencies. So they're doing an awful lot of, they can, Shasta said that people anywhere in Western Washtenaw County can call and arrange to get a ride into Ann Arbor or even into Ypsilanti, get taken door to door and back again afterwards for less than $5. It's very cost effective.
Yeah, and I've tried to encourage, there've been some parents that have called about, getting their kids to school, because none of the private schools, right, have buses. And so parents are driving, and that's really tough to coordinate work schedules and stuff. And you know, that kids could use Wave, and it's a, you know, it's a small bus, so it's really, and it's door to door. It's, you know, how safe can you, you know, that's a pretty safe type of public transit.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot to do. And then I'm thinking as we get further, we could do things like to promote local agriculture and so on. We could do something like have an event where people from Scio Township meet up at Meyer and take the bus to the farmer's market, you know, and make a little kind of festival out of it or something.
Mhm.
But, and there's a lot that can be done. So
Yeah, yeah,
we'll look into it.
that's
I'll let
cool.
you know if we need budget money.
Okay.
I'll ask that at our meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know that Meyer would be so so excited about taking people.
Well, then
out.
you could promote something like go to the farmer's market, then do the rest of your shopping at Meyer
Mhm.
Yeah,
when you get back.
yeah,
Mhm.
there you go.
Also, Meyer did offer, you know, I mentioned that, you know, they are the hub and the link between Western Washtenaw and Ann Arbor. And they said, you know, we'd be glad if you guys want, you know, some additional signage or whatever, we'd be happy to participate in that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I also noticed they have no bike hoops at Meyer, and I
Yeah.
actually took some photographs. I've seen bikes chained to trees every time I've been there.
The time that I went, I saw there was one bike rack and it was pressed up against the front of the building so close that you couldn't get a bike all the way into it. So the old style bike rack that they had at elementary schools,
Oh yeah, yeah.
the bicyclists, I think call them combs. And yeah, and it was so jammed up. First of all, you couldn't get your front tire into the rack because it's against the wall of the building. And second of all, your back wheel would be sticking out into traffic. So, and I was wondering too, I know we already do have something in zoning about you need to provide bike parking, right?
Yeah,
I'm not
right.
seeing bike racks around any of those outbuildings. I didn't look that closely, but I kind of drove around one day and I didn't see anything.
I should look at that because they do.
I thought they did.
Yeah, they do.
I didn't look really closely, so
Yeah.
it's possible,
But yeah. But and they have that whole parking area by the bus stop that you know, transform a couple of those parking spaces
right.
into the bike spaces. But anyway, I think they're open to that. So that's cool. The other thing that transportation group came up with is there is not a uniform website or map even of the transportation in Scio. So there's no, you know, you have to go to Wave and you have to go to
Right.
ATA.
Yeah.
So it makes it.
They're working on that. I know Shasta's told me
Okay.
they're working on it. It's
All
much
right.
better than it used to be, and they are trying to coordinate the times of the buses much better than they used to.
But that would be a funding ask too.
It
You know,
would.
if AAATA would do some Wave and Scio would kick in, maybe Dexter would kick in some and so forth. You
Right.
could really get, you know,
Right.
be able to get maybe even a website posted that, you know, people could go. And I don't know if they could add on to the AAATA, you know, timing, or I don't know, you know, because they have that plan your trip app kind of thing that you can do. But
Right.
anyway, I think just trying to integrate it would be really helpful.
I think there's efforts in that direction, but we can certainly nudge it along.
Yeah. Okay.
And I can't really speak to the other part of this that you had, the Complete Streets project. Can you speak?
Oh
to
yeah.
that? Yeah.
We actually had Chris Chang and I had a kickoff meeting with the team. We have, I mean, a really cool team. There's a landscape architect planner. Matt is a part of it just from a utilities kind of coordination piece. There's a data analysis. She's an engineer that does a lot of data analysis. There's a transportation planner. They have worked on the M59 project, I guess, and they did some of the work for Washtenaw, the revisioning Washtenaw. So we're going to have, and they said no problem with this, a transparent interactive web page where people can go and see what's happening, see what the plans are, what the schedule is. you know, so it becomes, you know, public engagement starts with, you know, having access to what this project's about. So I think that's going to be really helpful. We're going to try and do, and if anybody wants to tag along, the team is trying to, in sometime in December, do their kind of field work, because you know, Matt's very familiar with the township. I think it's Francisca, um, has lived in Ann Arbor, this area. But a couple of the team members, you know, aren't that familiar with Jackson Road. So I'm really excited, because I think you know, having Matt as a part of it, he's already done a lot of work with the road commission. He also thinks it's a perfect time to engage the road commission, because they're starting, you know, they've had their staffing kind of changes, and they're finally getting this that complete streets, you know, zero deaths, all of those things are a part of their responsibility. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But
I should also mention that, do you have anybody on that team from AATA by any
well,
chance?
yeah, we will have, this is just the planning group, and then, so there's the stakeholder group, which has AAATA and the Road Commission and the MDOT, it has DDA, it has um, City of Ann Arbor, City of Dexter, Wave. I forget the whole list of them, but
Okay.
it's a pretty, you know, large stakeholder group. And then, of course, then the main community engagement piece.
Does it have Board of Trustees involvement?
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm, mhm.
The reason I asked about them is because I went and listened to the last AAATA board meeting, and there was a big presentation on the plans. They're planning to put in a separate bus lane, and they're basically bus rapid transit. Eventually, starting on Jackson at Gray Lake, going all the way through the Jackson Huron Washtenaw corridor to past Ypsilanti, into Ypsilanti. So, you know, if they're ending it basically when they hit Scio. So we might, as you do that project, think about the fact that that's likely to get changed into that bus rapid transit route.
Well, the
Right
other
there.
thing that I keep thinking too is, it doesn't make sense for Meyer to be the terminus. Does it make more sense for Scio to be served by Wave and have the terminus at Grow Lake, you know, and do that, so you have the, you know, fast buses coming in, and is Wave more economical for Scio based on, you know, we don't have those dense populations that make, you know, fixed bus routes all that um meaningful. I mean, but I guess that's a big planning thing.
But we might, if we get denser housing along Jackson corridor.
Jackson Road, then we would.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we get the housing on you know, Quality 16, and the other one, the Malloy property, yeah,
Mhm.
that could really bolster it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
That's it.
All right. All right. Okay. Energy, I talked about the solar event. And then, you know, really HVAC. The other thing we've got to do, they're starting, you know, they're working on their capital improvement plans, and really getting into a more extensive decarbonization plan for the buildings. That's sort of my other goal. That has a cost to it as well. And also, I think we started but didn't get very far, and this is really mobility and energy, is the you know, fleet plan, a plan for electrification of the fleets. It'll be interesting, because we're going to have the benefit of Ann Arbor doing that, U of M, we have AATA, so you just a whole range of people. I think Ann Arbor's getting its first all-electric fire truck. Well, it's a hybrid. But you know, you know, it'll be nice. Maybe, you know, a year from now, we'll know a whole lot more about that, sort of fleet electrification planning, and hopefully it, will just, it makes it easier for smaller organizations to do something. All right. Egg. So that education piece, I think, Tim, is good. I'm wondering, with the sustainability fair, it's too late in October to do any kind of real produce, do you think, with the sustainability fair? Or any thoughts there?
No, there's a lot, particularly in the early part of October, there's a lot of greens, a lot of, squash and things like that. There's carrots,
Yeah, because I'm wondering if we could do more of a, if we added another tent, do more, maybe there's, some recipes, and, you can buy some things, and here's some recipes that, how to, fix them, because a lot of people with root vegetables and greens and stuff like that, it's sort of salad or, or roasting, and that's about it. I don't
What do
know.
you
That might
think
be.
about bringing in one of our local co-ops?
Mm. Hmm.
I mean, the crop, what do they call that? Crop sharing, or you buy a
Oh,
share?
the CSAs.
Yeah, CSAs, thank you.
Yeah, or what is that? Hungry root? Hungry something?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I can't think of that.
Yeah, that they get the boxes or whatever. Yeah, I think it would be kind of fun. I just found out today that I forwarded it to you, Tim, that the Sustainable Food Business Group they're coming up with a community cookbook, that would be, using more local foods and so forth. And that's kind of a fun idea. So maybe it'll be published by that time, and that could be a part of that as well.
Jen, was your thought to have the farms selling their?
Yeah. I don't know if what Meyer will think about that, but
It's only one day out of the year, and it's only
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I'll look at the agreement, that they do. I think it's just all about liability and stuff. I don't think it restricts us from what we can do. I'll have to look. There might be a thing that you can't sell,
Yeah, it's nothing about non-compete.
But yeah, I think I would honestly want to clear it with them, and, make sure that was okay. But it's a different market, really.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's only one day a year, and it's only a few things, and it's in favor of the township that they
Yep.
did. So it might be.
Yep, and I'm pretty sure that the fair date's going to be October 5th. I just I guess the electric car group has a new person in charge, and we haven't quite connected, but that's what they think the date is going to be. So we for sure we'll be able to then, start getting everybody to put that date in their calendar, so we can get more.
Yes, and Honeybee has, as they did this year and last year, they have their own little fair going on. I forget what they call it in October. It's more toward the end of October, I think, but
Okay.
it's always been in conflict, so we haven't been able to get them to participate.
Yeah, and I noticed there was some sort of thrift shop kind of thing going on it too, and it might be cool to tie in with, some of the resale shops, and it could go to Honeybee. They could, there could be, like how they do the house tours. You can do the sustainability tour, and, maybe somebody like David Reed might even open up his house, and people could see the car charging, the solar, the restored prairie, kind of an all-in-one, kind of piece. And you go, so the fair gets, there are more things to do that are associated with it.
Malibu does it.
Thinking a little big, but
You know, Ann Arbor has A to Zero.
Uh-huh.
They do that a couple times a year, where
Yeah.
they have stations you can tour throughout the city.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But
And-
yeah,
and-
it, go ahead.
Oh, excuse me, and Alisandi, bless her heart, is really good at recycling. When they have a chicken carcass, she calls the crows in and they take care of it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and Rob Pattinson, let's organize an event in his front yard.
I beg your pardon. Tim, you are always getting me in trouble, buddy.
Yeah.
Well,
And maybe we'll have some things, show and tell at at Township Hall too. The other thing, yeah, go
Oh, I
ahead.
was just gonna say, have we been in touch with like some of the surrounding townships and communities about having a joint fair at all?
I haven't. The one that was interested was Ann Arbor
Right.
Township. Yeah.
Right. That's what
But it would be, that would be, yeah, there's time there to be able
Yeah.
to, and Dexter, that's,
Mhm.
Lodi. Mm-hmm. Okay. We can do it. Western Washtenaw Sustainability Fair.
Well, I gotta tell you, if we were gonna do a joint fair with Dexter, Monument Park is the perfect place to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot goes
Although
on at that park.
they'd have to take wave there.
Yeah, there you go. Or bike.
We'd have we could have Wave do a bus, so you hop on at Meyer and they could take you to all the different, and do maybe it's an hour, and you come back and another group can go, have a couple of um guided tours of, sustainable Scio.
what did you suggest, Jeff? Where? If we do,
Monument.
Monument Park,
Mhm.
which is in downtown Dexter. It's right off Dexter and Arbor Road.
Right.
In fact, I'm working the holiday hustle there this Saturday. 5K in the afternoon starts and ends at Monument Park, and they have they have Dexter Days there, they have art
Mhm.
fairs there, all kinds of things.
you mean where the bandstand is or the?
Yes,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
that-
that's the place. Yep,
very visible.
yes, extremely visible.
Mhm. Mhm. Interesting. Okay, well, although it'd be hard for the EV guys.
Yeah, depends. You can work it out with the city authorities to close one of the streets temporarily,
Yeah.
right behind the park. That's what we do for the race.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting ideas. Okay.
Yeah, or Dexter Township, that seems the most likely to want to join us.
Mm-hmm.
Ann Arbor Township are a bit away and, you might have to do home and home, but I think we have the perfect venue there in the Meyer parking lot. It's big, you can park a lot of EV vehicles there and they're very visible and blah, blah, blah. And if people want to, other townships want to join us there, I think that, not to knock your idea, Jeff, sorry. But it's just so accessible and easy. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. And they, I think what they wanted to do is, encourage their folks to come and also have, tables and so forth, to talk, they really liked the boards that we had of all the preserves and so forth. It was, just really showing people what all the assets are in, our larger community of, whether it's water or ecosystems or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I just noted resilience. We really don't have anybody. Chief Hood, but it'll be interesting because once they start going on the new fire station, there might be some things that would come into that because part of that fire station is supposed to be a resilience hub for the township too. So
Have you by chance talked to Chief Hood to see if, we haven't seen him since early on.
He's been really busy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I
Fighting
also
fires.
think if we can plan for it, I do think having just an ESTF table at the Halloween party would be beneficial. Because this year he invited me, but it was like, the Wednesday before, and it was just like, oh, I don't have, But I think if we planned on just having a table there, there could be some good conversations. And then also coordinate with the fire department, because you put maybe this, we look at where we want to put the tent and have a big fire truck in front. And, so it attracts, more attention, et cetera, for people to come in. Yeah. And like, I think Tim also, when we were talking about engaging some of the schools and having, because the kids bring parents and, it, we could do some marketing that way. Okay. Fellowship follow up. Okay, so just, everybody just confirm kind of some key things that you want to accomplish this year and cost. Because it would be good to have, some just it doesn't have to be a dissertation, just a short bullet points or something like that, and then the budget to accomplish it. And if you can just get that to me, sometime this month, that would be great. Or
So
shortly after the first of the year.
these
Because we
are,
won't meet again in January.
so you're talking about something from us about what they should communicate about what we're doing to the people
Not
there.
necessarily, well, it's more to support the budget request. We'd like to have X dollars for this purpose. We're not, and some of you have, like the pilot, we have very specific ideas of what that is. I have some very specific things for the sustainability fair. You might say, this would be, working with WAVE and AATA to promote public transit, that type of thing. And it would, yeah, be
Okay.
education campaign, mapping, website,
Okay.
whatever that might be. Yeah. Okay. Excellent news. We found out today that our fellowship proposal was accepted. This is part of the Catalyst Communities, My Green Michigan, and it evolved because the city of East Lansing had a very similar proposal. It was, developing the curriculum for staff and employees in the township around both Scio's climate action plan, but also the county's resilience plan, and also understanding My Healthy Climate from the state perspective. And East Lansing was doing something similar. So we're going to combine forces and get 2 fellows, which will mean it, it it will be adaptable for bunch, and cities are a little differently organized than the township. Can you still hear me okay? I just got the
Yeah, there was
unstable
a little
internet.
glitch there, but we got you now.
Yeah, I dropped my video thinking it was mine.
I may drop my video. Let me do that. Okay. So that is, so we'll have 800 hours of fellows working on this project. It's 10 weeks in the summer. Chris Chang will be the main contact. And I think that'll be an exciting opportunity because, even though it's based for staff decision-making, budgeting, capital planning, it'll have zoning, all of those things in it, and how you use the lens of sustainability to help make decisions and so forth. And also just basic training and all, the basic aspects of sustainability. So, and that'll be in modules and, some video type things. So sort of a multimedia thing, process. And it'll be kind of fun working with the city of East Lansing, kind of in collaboration with them. Huh, kind of fun. So, and if you want to, let me just to see what some of these folks have done. You can put this, I'll send you the final, here are a couple links if people want to look at the projects that come out of this. Okay. I did notice there was one on increasing the use of public transit too. You might want to take a look at it.
Yeah, good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's sort of about, and also if any of you have contact with any graduate students, they can be in any university in all of Michigan. So it can be Michigan Tech, Eastern, Wayne State, Michigan State. So the fellows can come from any place, and they get paid. This is a paid fellowship, so you can, folks, put them. And so they're usually sustainability, policy, um, that kind of related, government related interests.
Do you think they need to work together, Jan?
Oh, they will be.
Side by side, so they need to come from the same place?
No, not necessarily. A lot of the meetings are virtual. They do bring the students in, and there's a required site visit that they have, but a lot of the work it does happen virtually. So, mhm. Okay. Okay. And I did in the newsletter, we did get a little bit about new member recruitment, but that isn't the best way to recruit. So I have a couple of people, and I was going to connect with the housing co-ops, and or the what is it called? What are they called?
Co-housing.
Co-housing, yeah. Which is short for co-op, I guess, the co-housing groups, because they tend to have pretty active people, and we might be able to get a couple more people to join. So if you also have any networks or anything, and Charlie, you're going to reach out to John Loken. He would be great. I
Yeah,
think
I think he'll do it too. He's real interested in recycling, so.
okay, well, how come you get the strong group? No, I'm trying to find somebody who might be interested in resilience and in working with the fire department and some of that piece to strengthen it. We certainly could use another person on energy. And right now, Bob's the only one on water, and we don't have anyone dedicated to natural ecosystems. I haven't talked to Jackie recently to see if she'd be interested in coming back on. I know she was still dealing with parent things.
Jackie Courteau?
Uh-huh.
That should be great.
Yeah.
Jan, I might have a connection to somebody for resilience.
Ooh.
There, a resident who's been coming to meetings lately, Marcia, I'm blanking on her last name. She was very helpful in me getting the fire assessment signs changed to fire millage. So, and she was just very interested in wanting to focus on the fire station.
Mm-hmm.
So, so what is it that you're looking for in the resilience end?
Yeah, so there are multiple things. There's one, I know Chief Hood wanted to try and have some sort of CERT program, and I think Rob, you volunteered, right? You were interested in getting that training?
Actually, that was me.
Oh, that was you, Pam?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, yeah. So I know he has that, and I don't think he has the time
Right,
to do
right.
that. So,
Hmm.
and I think that would be very helpful because one of the things, in any kind of disaster or even, um, if we had a tornado, if,
Right.
whatever,
Hmm.
that kind of network is so critical with the communication and so forth. So, I mean, in my mind, that's a an easy, it's a curriculum. He would need to make sure there's budget for training and stuff and, the
Right,
upcoming budget. But if he had a couple people that would work to help recruit people within the
right.
community to do that, I mean, in my mind, that would be perfect.
And I know that when we gave, well, I was at the presentation, Chief Hood gave to co-housing a year ago
Hmm.
with the old one. Um, a man in co-housing um, was certified and was very interested in being a part. And I gave that name. I talked to him and I wrote his name down and gave Chief Hood that information.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Hmm.
I've got a lot on my plate right now, but let
Uh-huh.
me see if I can't pull something together and
Yeah, if
get
you could
with you.
even find his name and talk to him and see if
Yeah,
he would
yeah,
actually kind of be interested in taking a lead. I
yeah,
guess I would check in with Chief Hood first. You want me to
exactly.
do that, or do you want to?
Mhm. I've got to stop into the fire station in another week,
Okay,
and I'll throw out. I'll ask some questions and
okay. If
see
that's
what might stick.
something that he would like an assist with. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Marsha might be a good person to kind of maybe lead that. We'll see. I'll ask her. I'll talk to her. And
Okay.
yeah, maybe for the February meeting, ESTF meeting, I can have some information for you.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank
Okay.
you, Pam.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Because I do feel like, in any kind of disaster, if you've got people that, you know, that can report in and have skills, and it just helps things tremendously. Unfortunately, we haven't had anything really significant. That was wood. Okay. Um, any other public comment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just really quickly that I was at a SEMCOG meeting yesterday and saw Beth Givens, and she asked me to convey to all of us that she's more than happy to come to one of our meetings sometime and talk about what she does and what their program does and how Resilient Washtenaw can work with us and so on.
That'd be cool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And then we can record it, and because I would love, more people to know about that.
Mhm.
In fact, I'm wondering if it would make sense to have her give like almost a presentation to the planning commission and invite the BOT.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's, at that, you want to coordinate. Yeah, Bob.
Yeah, she should.
Rob.
I mean, we can invite the Land Preservation Commission as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. Rob.
Um, I've been to a lot of contentious meetings in the last few years, and clearly the most dangerous committee meetings I have attended have now turned into the ESTF meetings because I keep getting tempted into trouble by you troublemakers. And little did I know how dangerous ESTF would be.
You're welcome, Rob.
When I was
Thanks,
thinking,
Bob.
Rob, since I tricked you into becoming a member of the task force, but then again, I don't think we assigned you to a particular group, did we?
Oh, no, we have not tricked Rob into becoming a member of the task group. Rob was tricked into the sustainability sign.
Oh, I thought it was broader than that, but.
Oh, no, 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 no.
I think we tried, but you know,
Oh,
that,
okay.
yeah.
He resisted.
Yes.
And is still resisting.
You know,
Great
it's
meeting,
still,
gang.
you know, we still have, you know, next year.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
So Jan, I would like to share something too.
Yes.
So just make you all aware of a trend I am now seeing catching on. I was in Denver a couple weeks ago visiting my daughter for the Thanksgiving holiday, and we went to the Denver Christmas market, which is this open air pop-up tent city they put up, where you can get food and drink and buy little tchotchkes and ornaments and things for Christmas. So we're wandering around there, and I see these sets of 3 bins set up in various places in the marketplace. And one says landfill, and one says recycling, and one says cups. And I thought, yeah, nice try, but there ain't no way. Well, I kind of looked and they didn't look too bad. And then I came across somebody actually changing out some of the bags at one of the stations, and I got into a conversation with him. It turns out that one of the major suppliers to this marketplace is a place called R.Cup. That's the letter R.Cup. And they provide 2 different types of cups to these events that are reusable. So this one here is their cold cup, and this one here is their hot cup. And I had a hot one. I had a little hot toddy, and then my daughter got a cold one. So anyway, I saved one of each. I'm sorry, guys, you can't reuse these. They're my samples. But they pick these up and then they put them through a commercial washing machine, and then they reuse them at other events. And apparently they have quite a good success rate with this. And just earlier this week, I was on a webinar where there is another company doing the same thing, a Cup Zero, and they are also doing this, and they serve events, and they claim so far this year to have saved over 100,000 disposable cups. And it is more than that even, because they've measured the carbon that they're saving, carbon emissions, and the water that they're saving. Because yes, it takes water to rinse these cups, to wash them, but a commercial dishwasher these days is very efficient. And it takes water to make disposable cups. So they claim to have measured they're saving thousands of gallons of water at the same time. So I know Perpetual was considering something like this for downtown Ann Arbor and bringing in the coffee shops and such, and basically having them provide these reusable cups, and then they provide disposal stations around the city. And people would put the cups back in these, and they'd go through the dishwasher and all that. So I don't know what's happening with that in Ann Arbor, but I do know that this appears to be taking off, which is fantastic.
That is neat. I know the Sustainable Food Business Coalition is working on rolling out, you know, beyond the pilot of have you guys done the returnable containers? Have you seen those, the A20 containers? I'll be right back.
Yeah, La Marsa is still doing them, and I think Zingerman's is too on a smaller scale, those reusable containers.
Reusable containers.
Yeah, takeout containers.
Yeah.
You pay a little deposit and you bring it back.
Well, yeah, there's a big difference between you can reuse them at home or they
Yeah,
actually wash them
it's-
out and reuse them
Yeah.
there.
So you can, you know, when you do takeout, you ask for a
Hmm.
returnable container and then you just take it back. Yeah, and I think they're trying to roll that out of the pilot phase next year. So, and that would be, you know, that's another thing that we could do is it doesn't have to be just people in Ann Arbor. We could market it to the restaurants in Scio. You know, and I think, you know, the R Cup might be another, you know, I don't know if we have the volume. Events, that's what's nice, is it's a concentrated volume, but
Right.
they're going to be setting up to do this. So, the more the merrier, right? So that
I
also
like
could be
that.
kind of fun. Yeah. And that would also engage us with businesses, which, we really haven't done anything with.
Right.
And I assume, Jan, those can be washed in the same dishwashers that they'd be doing their plates and stuff in anyway.
Well, that's been some of the feedback. Storage space in the restaurants. And
Right.
then and this I think is a part of a Eagle grant where they're trying to do a centralized washing facility. So they would pick up and drop off, to the restaurants as opposed to having the restaurants have to
Hmm.
manage them on their own. I don't know enough about how it's going to roll out and so forth, but yeah, so they're trying to get rid of all the foam and and even if they're recycled content or they're recyclable or compostable, most of those end up in the landfill anyway. So these,
Right.
Yeah.
people think a little more when it's solid, just like the R cups. I mean, they're a little more substantial than the typical. Yeah. Okay.
Well, if we, and I know that there's been some policy work in the county on this, but in any food service thing that happens in the township, I mean, we could work on a policy about what environmental guidelines we have, or, as policy goes, would have to be followed.
Yeah. Well, we don't have an ordinance that requires, commercial businesses to recycle either.
No, and I'm not talking about commercial businesses. I'm just talking about whatever the township has, and
Oh,
some
in the township operations, you said?
township hall or,
Mhm.
I don't know if there's anything else, but
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
there
And I
should
think
be.
that's a part of what this module can help with the fellows, looking at, these are all the things, all the components of how you operate that are, a part of reducing waste, reducing energy, all of that.
Yeah, I guess I'm talking about walking our talk. I was at the Don Palmer goodbye party, and waste from that was surprising.
Yeah, we have, yep. And that it just has to be a mindset of how you do any kind of event, how you do your purchasing,
Right.
all of that.
The
Mhm.
policies are made. They're mindsets that get turned into law, more or less.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? I think that was our public comment and approval of minutes. Thank you again, Kathy. Any additions or revisions?
It looked good to me, and I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll support.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. Thank you again, Kathy. And then we'll pick up on February 6th. I have not done the Zoom invites yet for next year's meetings. I'll go ahead and do that. Unless people want to change it, the 7 o'clock Thursdays, first Thursday of the month kind of thing. Virtual, recorded, and hopefully we can have some new faces on a February meeting. And
You mean like Rob?
I can see his smiling face right now.
Yeah.
I coughed up a lung there for a moment.
That's what I was wondering. Are you okay, Rob?
Okay.
Yeah.
I
And then we'll also have the newsletter deadline, so we can, sort of plan out what sorts of articles we want. And yeah, I didn't get a Mary Turk coming back. You're way over your 350, Jan. No, it was So hopefully everything was good. Yeah. With that, hey, everyone have great holidays, and hopefully you have, some friends and family to enjoy them with. So
Thank you. Great
You
meeting.
too, Jan.
Merry
Yep,
Christmas.
same to you.
thank
And
you.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
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 Okay, everybody. See you.
Okay.
We're adjourned.
Thank you so much for
good
everything
meeting and good
everyone's
year.
done this year. I really enjoy working with this group. You're very, I think we have a really fun, diverse kind of group, and
This is a
thank you.
good group.
A team.
Team, yes.
Rob must think so. He keeps coming back.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Okay, take care,
Good news.
everyone. Bye-bye.